the second question. I'm still looking at the question from 2019. All right, I don't have the question paper here, but your story was to do with some strange cave that you and your friend went to visit. You had to give a name to your friend. So what I've given here as examples are different ways that you can use to introduce the story. So the first one is the use of dialogue. I hope this is clear. Can you see this? Blue writing?
Yep.
Yes. So
Yes.
in this, I have used the dialogue. There is also elements of suspense. There is sensory details. What do we mean by sensory details?
5 senses.
5 senses, okay, good. What are they? What is one example?
5 senses.
5 senses.
Sight.
So what is one example of the 5 senses?
Sight.
Sight, okay. Sense of seeing, we call that. Sense of seeing. Okay. So
Sense of sight and seeing.
then you know the rest of them. So we are talking about seeing, what else? Hearing, taste, and all.
Olfactory.
All the 5 senses. Who is this galaxy? Okay,
Oh, Miss, that's
They're all,
they're all
they're all, miss.
okay, so you are galaxy.
Galaxy tab.
All right, okay.
yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Galaxy, you have joined us in the second session, okay? So we are talking about the use of various skills to start our story. So depending on what kind of question has been given to you, in these examples, I have used dialogue, suspense, sensory details, and conflict. What do we mean by saying conflict here? What's another way we can say conflict? A simple with a P?
What?
What's another word for conflict? A simple word with P.
Problem.
Yes, okay.
Problem.
So story, one of those important elements in story, for the story to move forward, there must be a problem. So what's the conflict? What is the problem that's faced by the characters? All right. So let's go to the first example. Can you read this?
Yep.
Yep.
What is, how do you read this?
What's this I taste in my mouth?
And continue. Continue.
Where am I? I cannot see. I cannot even move hands.
Listen. So,
Oi, guys, come on.
who is the person talking with?
Someone.
Who is the character talking with?
Someone.
Or to himself,
Talking
maybe.
to himself.
Himself. Okay.
Who is
He is talking to himself. So when we say a person is talking to themselves, what are we talking about? How do we know that this person is talking to themselves?
There's no response.
There's no response. It's
But because
Or it could just be mental.
there is dialogue, right? And so what is actually happening in this situation? Is this person really talking to someone?
I think he's paralyzed.
Sorry?
Paralyzed.
He's lost.
Like he's drank poison.
Okay, so if he's paralyzed, then how is he expressing this dialogue?
He's thinking.
Okay, good. So we say thoughts. So we can also say that thoughts of the character can also fall in the category of dialogue, talking to themselves. And in the dialogue, there is also another important element. What are we looking at here? When the character is asking these questions, what are they presenting to us? Out of the things I've listed here, what is it that they're expressing here?
Suspense.
Yes, suspense. What else? There is suspense and there is, what's the word? C and P?
Sensory.
Problem.
Problem and conflict. Right? There is a problem that this person is showing us. Through that thought, through the form of dialogue, we can see what kind of conflict is taking place in the mind of this character. All right, so that's first example. Number two, who would like to read this? Michael, read this for us. How would you read this?
Yeah.
I cannot switch on my torchlight. Donna.
Read
Yes.
it again.
I cannot switch on my torchlight. Donna. Shh. Is that you, Donna?
Okay. And how do you explain that, Travis?
Sorry, miss.
Last sentence. Can you read that for us?
Okay. Is that you, Donna?
What do you think is expressed here? What's the reason why this is written this way?
It's like an interruption or something.
Interruption. So what kind of interruption was there?
Scared, startled.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you can create something like this. You can create a situation like that. All right? And you as storytellers, I'm just giving you some examples. All right? Because I saw a lot of people are using the chronological order, still doing chronological order. What do we mean by this chronological order?
Start, middle, end. Type of
What is chronological order? Somebody? What is to tell a story using chronological order?
time.
Sequence. Time sequence.
Sequence, okay.
Beginning and
Explain what you mean by this sequence. The answer is in this one word. So what are we talking about? When we talk of chronological order, what are we talking about? The sequence. One of the
Process.
two words is sequence. What about the sequence? What's another word for the word sequence?
Process.
A simple word.
Pattern.
Oh,
order.
okay. So Daryl, what are we talking about when we talk of order in story writing? Chronological order is the order.
Order in which the setting of the plot takes place. Again.
Continue. Simply.
Gerald.
With regard
Speech.
shadow.
Daryl, chronological
Yes, miss.
order is the order in which you are on the right track. Just complete it properly. The order
In which the conflict, like it occurs or takes place,
okay,
like the build up to it.
that's it. Okay, so we are telling the story in the order in which it happened. So if I spoke about going to an island, what would be the beginning of my story?
How you ended up on the island.
No, you tell me how you begin.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
tell
we got a ship.
you tell the beginning.
How you get them is
What did you do in the first place, Michaelin?
I got a
Get
ship.
to the island.
I got a boat. I got a yacht.
you get on a boat or something like that means to travel up to the island.
So
Going
you
to the island.
Aqua
go
Dome.
from your bed straight to the island.
Yeah.
So you need to show some kind of order in which things happen. You did some packing up of your things, you had some breakfast. Otherwise,
Oh.
you'll be too hungry, you'll fall off your boat, and then the sharks will have you for breakfast instead. Right? So sequence order in which the things happen. You tell the story according to the order in which the events took place. So this is what chronological order is. So, I spoke about the importance of making sure your story is introduced well and getting away from the idea of giving a common type of introduction. So what is our idea of a common type of introduction?
Definition.
Definition.
Yes, that's when you're talking about the argument. What about story writing? What's the common way?
Anecdote.
We just spoke about it just now. The common
Conflict.
ways.
Chronological order.
Come on. The chronological
Order.
order is the order, the common way of telling a story. When I talk about going to some place, I will talk about what I did first, then next, and so on until I reach the end of the story. You understand? So our goal is to get away from creating a type of introduction that's very ordinary. That means everybody else will choose to write their story like that. You understand? So if you're going to be writing a story, 21,000 or 25,000 students will choose to use the chronological order, the order in which things happened, all right? So the goal is to create our introduction that's completely different from other people. So what's the reason why we have to do that? What's the reason why we have to create our introduction differently?
To capture the reader's attention.
Good, to capture the reader's attention. In this case, who is going to be your reader?
Markers.
marker.
The marker.
The marker. So the marker can give a good impression of what it is you have presented. All right. Now I'm going down my list of introduction types. The next one is the description of a setting. What is a description of setting? What am I talking about here? If I'm going to begin a story, I can
The
also
place. The place.
Describing the surroundings.
setting is, yes, the place, the surroundings. What else? There is an important element for setting. Place and what? Two
Place
important
and time.
place and, all right?
Time of the day.
Time. Place and time, T-I-M-E. Place, the place where it took place or where it happened, and the time it happened. So I can use this approach of using the setting to tell my story, or I can use the next one. What's the next one? Yeah, I have said the use of action and suspense. I want you to read this. Someone?
Quick.
Ashanti.
Is there Ashanti? Is Ashanti there too?
No.
No, why?
No.
Michael,
Yes.
Okay. Now you read.
read for us.
We crashed through the thick bush, paddled up the hill and into the valley below, but it still came after us.
Okay, so this is action.
Thank you, Travis.
Okay, so what are
Welcome.
that's not Michael's voice, but anyway, thank you.
Miss.
The action there is crashed and what else? Scuttled.
Scuttled,
Scaffold.
How do you scuttle?
flew,
What do you associate this word with?
trip,
What kind of animal moves like that?
like a little fox.
Oh.
Yo, did you swear?
Just
No.
Are you scary? What is the word?
Coupled.
Scuttle. What kind of animal
Scaffold.
do you associate this movement with? If you scuttle, what kind of movement is the word scuttle?
like a quick movement.
Very quick movement. All right. So I want you to take your mind to the beach. Have you been to the beach?
Not in a while.
Yes.
Okay.
Not
You've been in
really.
Portsmouth for so many years, you don't know what the beach is like.
Ala beach.
But this word is associated with an animal like the crab, right? If you disturb the
Oh,
it scuttles. It does not crawl, it does not run, it does not walk. What does it do? It
Scuttle.
scuttles. It scuttles. That means it moves very fast, very quick, short steps. Scuttle. All right? So can you imagine yourself doing scuttling like a crab?
Yes.
Yes?
Kuka.
not really.
All right? Not really.
Not really.
Just to give an idea how we are going to move if there is something frightening coming after us. All right?
Mhm.
So it's just, what do we call this word? A connotation. What's a connotation? A connotation is or means a suggestive
Associated with
meaning. Suggestive meaning gives an idea what kind of movement I made. All right? And did we fly like birds down the valley? No, it's showing what happened, what caused us to, or how did we move when we felt that we were very afraid of what that was coming after us. So I have used three action words here. One is crashed, one is scuttle, and the other is flew. So when you use such words, you're creating an atmosphere of what is happening, right?
Connotation.
Is there anybody else here with us, or is it only ourselves?
Stagger's here.
Julian is there.
Dylan, Vanessa, Kawhi,
Venice is awfully quiet today.
Leslie, and Rachel.
And the next one, next example, I have used character. Who is a character?
Actor.
Wow.
And it's
The person taking part in the story.
Sorry.
All right?
Sorry.
The person taking part in the story. All right? And here I have written, he was just another boulder. What's a boulder?
Stone. Rock.
a
Yeah.
big stone or something.
We can say this is a big rock,
It's a very, very, very large rock, miss.
very large rock. So he was just another boulder camouflaged against the large rocks that jutted up from the side of the cave. His body adorned with tattered leaves and his head canopied with threads of gray like ash at the fireplace at dawn. What am I explaining here or describing?
His hair.
Fireplace.
What am I describing? Gray like the ash of the fireplace at dawn.
You're describing the
Describing the
Place.
hair.
Describing the
Head?
hair.
Hair.
The
His
hair?
hair.
Oh, his hair.
yes, the
The
hair
head on his hair. Oh wait, the head.
covered with threads of gray. So I'm talking about the hair, gray. Okay. It was impossible to see anything in the dark in this dark cave, but we were able to see such details. So I'm using what is called foreshadowing. All right. What is foreshadowing? Foreshadowing is giving clues through the description. It gives some kind of meaning. What I mean by this, all right? What I imply by this. So it's impossible to see anything in the dark, but we were able to see this gray hair. What does that tell about what is the atmosphere? There is some magical thing that allows that to happen. I can see that in the dark, all right? I tend to signal to my friend Lona that we should go back the way we had come when he said this was in some strange language in a legend from my place. But it means cave shut. How did he know our thoughts? These were the words of the wicked witch told in a well-known legend in my village, right? So this was a legend, but I am seeing it displayed there, right there, okay? So this is just to create an atmosphere of magic and strange things according to the theme of the story, okay?
Yep.
So you will write better stories than that. Now, going on to your question for 2020. I spoke about the list of questions, but there are 3 places where you can find clues. One is the cover of the booklet. What's the cover of the booklet? This is what I'm referring to. Use and accessibility of internet on mobile phones. So the examiner is giving you a clue here that the question will be to do with this broad topic, all right? Does not really give you any specific information, but the question should be around this idea, right? Let's go through this again. Use and accessibility of internet on mobile phones. So what is it talking about here? Or who is it that this is an issue? Rachel Biama, good afternoon to you. Rachel, you are there?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, miss.
You just joined us now?
A
Yes.
few minutes
A few minutes.
actually.
Okay, so we are looking at the cover of the booklet and trying to use this as one of those clues. There are 3 clues that I identified from here. One is this one, use and accessibility of internet on mobile phones. Would they be talking about your parents' access to internet on mobile phones?
Not really.
No.
Not really.
Your parent does not have any issue with access to internet in their workplace.
Internet.
They will use the internet. So whom are they referring to?
The rural
Students,
population.
youth,
They're referring to
the
Students.
youth,
Students or
the
teenagers.
youthful population.
if you are a teenager and you are out on the street, is there any restriction as to whether you should use the mobile phone or not?
No.
No, there is no.
No.
No, not really.
So a particular group of teenagers, which is called,
Students.
Student.
all right? So this is one clue, all right? Then we go to the next one. Next clue. Mm. Next clue is the list of questions. I'll go through the other and then go to the list of questions on another page. The third clue is the subject articles in the booklet. All right. So you're going to go through the list of each topic or subject name. Try to identify. So this is material number one topic. What is material number one topic? Disadvantages of mobile phones. So one of those information sets that I should find for myself during my research is to do with disadvantages. Uses of internet in everyday life, I need to find information about that, the good and the bad, because according to my guide questions, that is what I'm asked to do. So you will go through each article title and try to have a general idea, but I'm sure through your prediction of or studying of the list of questions, you will have an idea already of what you think the expected question is, right? So have you decided what your question is going to be?
No.
No.
Okay. I have about 7 more minutes. So what I'm going to do now is to show you what I tried to do to make this. Oh, good afternoon, Douglas. You are there? So these are the questions.
Yes, Miss.
Questions on the
Yogi B.
questions in the book. So there are 17 questions that you are seeing in your booklet. One is, what is mobile phones and what are you asked to do here? This question means you have to define what mobile phone is, and this can be part of introduction because you can add some other general information. And the next question is, who uses mobile phones? This means you have to identify who mobile phone users are. And this can be part of the body of introduction, body or part of introduction. And you will decide how you can make use of that piece of information. So I have categorized these ones, question 1 and 2, as possible questions that will give me information for creating my introduction. All right. Then in the body paragraph, is it necessary to have a mobile phone? What am I asked to do here? I will have to take a stand. I will decide yes or no. So it's a yes or no question, or it is a disagree or agree or disagree kind of question. And number 4, why do people use mobile phones? Give reasons. That means you explain for the use of mobile phones. Number 5, what are the advantages and disadvantages of using mobile phones? You will present both sides of the argument. In other words, you're looking at the good and the bad. All right? Where are we? The good and the bad.
Question 6.
Question 5. All right? Question 6 says, do mobile phones affect users' lives? And so this is a yes or no kind of question. Or do you agree that mobile phones affect people? All right? Let's go to the next one. How does, what question is this? Still number 6 or number 7 and 8? So, how does the use of mobile phones affect one's life? You will explain the use of mobile phones. You will explain how the use of mobile phones affects one's life. Number 8, what would life be like without mobile phones? You will explain life without the use of mobile phones. Number 9, what is internet? And internet, this question is, where do you think would this kind of question be? Where would it fit in the structure of the essay? I said
Introduction.
can be woven together with the definition of mobile phones depending on how the question is structured. So if they put it together with mobile phones, what did I do here? I have created an example of a question. Students should be allowed to use mobile phones in school to access internet. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? All right. So if this question is put this way with these two words together, then you can say that both the definition of internet and the use of mobile phones can be woven into the introduction. All right. And then number 10, who uses internet? Again, the same kind of pattern they did with the mobile phone. So that's giving a clue that it's the same kind of question they will ask for, both of these together. They will not separate them. Okay. Is it necessary for people to access the internet? Why? You will take a stand and give reasons for your view. So it's a yes or no, or do you agree or disagree that it is necessary to access internet and give your reasons for your view. And what does internet provide? Explain what internet provides. 14, are there dangers in the use of internet? You take a stand, yes or no, do you agree or disagree? And explain what are these dangers. Have the use of mobile phones and internet affected world, societies, and cultures? That means they're giving you a clue. You can use other people's experiences from outside. How did mobile phones affect their cultures? All right, so that's number 15. Number 16, what would life be like without the use of internet? Explain life without internet. And the question I have placed it as conclusion. What does the future hold for the world? So if we're talking about the future, we are talking of, what's the word? Predictions. What will happen if we don't do what you, the writer, is expressing or talking about? You understand? So predict what is the future of the world with advanced developments in mobile phones and internet. So there will be prediction, there will be recommendations, there will also be warning. All right, so I hope that that's enough information to give you idea how you're going to create your outline and in what direction you are going to create that writing. All right, what's our time now? My time is not correct on this.
As time is.
It is time? Okay,
Yep.
Any questions? Any questions? You don't have,
So Miss Kilipasi, the actual exam is going to be on Monday, right?
yes, you are given the booklet to study for a week, just like the normal exam procedure. So you study the booklet for a week and then you sit for the exam next week. All right? So you prepare your outline, find your notes, memorize the information, and then you come for the exam on Monday. And you need to bring my booklets, the two booklets, 2019 and 2020, so that I will give Kenneth back. Otherwise, I will have my name recorded with the black record that I didn't return information. All right? But I hope that this is enough information to help you do your outlining and prepare for the examination. Was this information helpful?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay, and make sure you write your story. You've done enough practice already on story writing, that you should be able to write a story without a lot of explanations. And what I'm worried about was the argument. Try to find a different way to write your argument, introduction especially. And don't forget to write your title and your thesis statement. If I'm going to see you again, I think I'm scheduled to see you again